Since the Central Bank of Nigeria announced an increase of the cash reserve ratio to 27.5% from 22.5%, many have posited that this could impede the loan-to-deposit ratio policy of the Apex Bank. The CBN, at the end of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, announced the increase of the CRR to mop up excess liquidity in the banking system. Speaking to analyst Kunle Amida of PricewaterhouseCoopers PwC Nigeria, he says the policy could have a negative impact on bank earnings.
Factors ranging from the closure of borders, minimum wage increase, and the current excess cash flow in the economy has put the inflation rate at 11.98% as of December 2019, the highest since April 2018. In a bid to mop up the liquidity from successive rise in inflation rate, the Central Bank of Nigeria at its Monetary Policy Committee meeting increased the cash reserve ratio to 27.5% from the initial 22.5%.
There's a lot of liquidity in the market, particularly also coming from not only the fiscal that is also spending to fund its budget, but also the fact that some actors have been excluded from the OMO, and also insisting that OMOs, particularly for the local individuals and corporates, will not be allowed any longer. Committee felt that there would be a lot of liquidity in the market and there was a need for the bank to do something to mop the excess liquidity to a level that it considers optimal to be able to run the economy in a way that the level of excess liquidity does not become injurious to the economy.
But the increase of the cash reserve ratio is coming at a point when the Apex Bank is intensifying efforts to increase lending to the real sector, with its loan-to-deposit ratio pegged at 65%. This, according to analysts, will result in a very unfavorable working condition for deposit money banks and also take its toll on their earnings.
For shareholders of banks, with their limited abilities or the limited amount of funds to play with for investments in bonds and treasury bills, it's probably may have a negative or impact on the earnings outlook of the banks in Nigeria.
The inability of local manufacturers to meet up with the excessive demands in the market due to the border closure have been identified as one of the reasons for rising inflation. And this, according to analysts, may not be totally controlled with the increase in the cash reserve ratio.
Problem around border closure and the inability of the local firms to meet the demand for these essential commodities will continue to bite very hard if even with these CRR being enforced. So if it is enforced, fine, because it's not 100% of the inflation is not due to border closure, obviously. At least part of it, whatever proportion is due to excess liquidity, probably can be addressed by this CRR pronouncement. But the main issue, the supply side problems that we faced, which resulted in inflation, is the closure of the borders.
Despite speculations that the increase in the CRR could impede the lending patterns in the real sector, the Apex Bank says it is confident this move will make more money available to banks to lend to businesses while retaining the benefits from the bank's loan-to-deposit ratio policy. Adeshawa Odushoga, TV 360, Lagos.